Fred Bo Dunning is a licensed marriage and family therapist in California. His office is in Apple Valley. If you are seeking mental or behavioral health help, please reach out to someone in your state. If you're thinking of suicide, please call 911 for emergency help. Statements in this video are not intended as mental health advice. The statements are for educational purposes only. Keep your eyes open for incoming After Duty Vets 2021, all rights reserved.
Number 25. You're a mother or a wife. How could you do this to your family? Because it's my job. Why do you think people leave? This is usually asked to women, not necessarily men. But women get asked this question. You know, it's their job, just like anybody else's job. You know, is it a big deal if you travel for your job? Do you make it a big deal? Why do you work? That's another question they could come back with. Why do you work? Why do you go to work every day? Why don't you stay home with your kids? That's pretty much the same damn thing. Men aren't asked this question. It's sexist. And I just don't understand how people think it's okay to ask that question. Number 24. I know how you feel. No, you don't. Unless you have sacrificed relationships, had children while deployed, been through boot camp, been to war, have anxiety, PTSD, any of the mental health disorders that you can get it from combat, or you don't know how I feel. You have no clue how I feel about the situation. Unless you've dealt with all that stuff and the possibility of all that stuff happening, had someone killed, have a friend commit suicide, all that stuff. No, you don't know how I feel. And you're not going to know how I feel, and I hope the hell you never do. Number 23. What's the nastiest and most disgusting thing that you saw over there? Please don't be curious at my expense. Seriously, don't. If you mean living conditions or societal norms, you might get an answer, but expect a smart-ass answer back. It also depends on the person. Every person's definition of disgusting is different. To them, you may be disgusting for asking the damn question. Some folks think it's disgusting to see dead folks. Some people think it's disgusting to see dead animals. Some think it's disgusting having to pick up their friends' body parts. And yes, that happens to people. Some may think that it's not having toilets or running water or trash everywhere, or there's so many things that are disgusting, and it depends on the individual person. So, that's just, why are you going to want to know that? One of the biggest things that they have to deal with all the time is being okay with dealing with, I'm not saying okay, but dealing with using kids with suicide bombs. That's a pretty disgusting thing. You wouldn't think that people would do that to their children, but they do in some of these situations. So that's a pretty disgusting thing. There are multiple things that are disgusting, but it all depends on what you remember disgusting it is. Some people it's burning flesh. Others it could be sewer systems. So there's so many things. All of this is based on their perception, but it's really none of your business. At the end of the day, asking this question can remind them of what they've been through and the horrors they had to see and do while in combat. And the biggest reason why you shouldn't ask this question is, you're asking them to live through things that cause them to question themselves and if they did the right thing in that situation. So just don't ask it. Number 22. How did being gone affect your children? First off, you're assuming that they had kids. Well, how do you think it affected them? You think that they were proud that they left their children and everything? Do you think that they wanted to? Wouldn't you think that being deployed would make their children happy as hell? What the hell do you think? The truth is, it really depends on the age and level of maturity at the time and understanding. If the kid's younger or not born when this happened, it can interfere with the bonding process. So they can struggle with long-term relationships. It's been proven that the bonding process starts in the womb. And if they're not there for that, then that can cause a lot of problems. Toddlers don't understand why their parents are gone. You can tell them, but they truly don't understand. pre-teenagers and teenagers, they kind of have an understanding of what's going on, but you're still putting them in a jacked up situation, asking them about their kids and how their kids are doing when they could have a lot of guilt because they had to leave and their children are struggling with it. You think teenagers don't give a damn, about their parents and stuff, but they do. I see it all the time. They worry about their parents, especially if they're in the war zone. A lot of them don't even watch the news for fear of what they'll see. So it affects their children. Just know that. Don't ask that question. Just know that it affects their children. And it also affects them to have to worry about knowing that that affected their children. Number 21. Do you get triggered, and what are your triggers? Seriously? You expect somebody to give up their weak points to you? Unless you really, really know them, do you actually think that they're going to give up their weak points? They're not going to tell you what their triggers are. And why the hell would you want to know what their triggers are? People may think that they deserve to ask this question, or they're curious about it. I could see a veteran something saying, what triggers me more than anything else? Assholes like you asking stupid questions. You are asking them to tell you their greatest weakness. You're also asking them to open up about how they're internally thinking and their thought processes. Basically, you're saying, what buttons do I need to push to piss you off? That's how it feels when you're asked that question by someone that really doesn't know you. So why would you ask them that? If you know them well and you have a relationship, then it might be a good thing because they might tell you so you can recognize it when you see it. But if you really don't know them very well, that's a really inappropriate question to ask them. It could trigger them into flying off the handle because of their negative experiences, so they could have a flashback or something. Just don't ask that question. It's not that important for you to know. It's none of your damn business.